How then, folks, how you doing? It's James, JT, at the movies, and I'm back here again today for my December and Christmas 2020 DVD, Blu-ray and 4K haul. So this is going to be a mixture of things that I've bought, things that were bought for me as a Christmas present, and then things that I've bought with a bit of Christmas money that my grandparents gave me. And yeah, it's a big one, so let's dive in. I think we'll take a look at the DVDs first, and then we'll move to Blu-rays, and then we'll have a look at the couple of 4K that I got as well. So we'll take a look in first. I'll try and remember whether or not I bought these myself, or whether they were bought for me, or where they've come from. This one I know is one that I bought myself, and it's me sort of building up my Stanley Kubrick collection. I'm trying to get his filmography, and this was one of the ones that I didn't have, and it's Spartacus. Got that from Poundland and thought, do you know what, 'cause it's a film that I've not seen probably since I was a kid. And I thought, do you know what, I'm more than happy to have the DVD for now. If I put it on and it absolutely blows me away, then perhaps I'll upgrade to the Blu-ray, or if there's a 4K of it, you know, maybe so. But if you're new to this channel, this is the first that you're watching, I am still in 2020 quite a comfortable DVD collector, and I would say that I pick up the majority of things that are sort of like curiosity buys, if you like, on DVD. Let's move on to the next one. This next one is one that I picked up with some money that my lovely granny gave me for Christmas. Popped into HMV on Boxing Day when we went to do a bit of shopping. And I picked this one up because the premise sounded interesting. It sounded very similar to a film that I love called Dead Calm. This one's called Dead Water. It's got Casper Van Dien in, who's an actor that I like, also stars Judd Nelson as well. The plot on the back of this sounds very similar to that of the plot of Dead Calm, which is a film that I enjoy. And so when I saw that, I thought that, yeah, actually, do you know what? I do love a good B-movie. Let's pick it up and let's see if it's any good. The next one that I picked up really for the cast. It's Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler and Brendan Fraser in Airheads. I've not seen this film before. It looks like the lads who are in it are in a band, and I'm a musician, so be something to pique my interest in. So I'm gonna sort of give that a watch. If it's something I like, I'll keep a hold of it for a quid. If it ends up going in the charity shop bag or whatever, well, it's not the end of the world, is it? I picked this next one up when I got to the till in HMV after buying some goodies, and thought that I'd pick this up because it again would be one step closer to completing my Martin Scorsese collection, and that is The Last Temptation of Christ. And it's got Willem Dafoe, Harvey Keitel and Barbara Hershey. I have seen this a long time ago. I'm pretty sure I've seen this with my granddad. I could be wrong, but I know I've seen the film with somebody in my family before. We've sat and watched it. This next one is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I waited until it dropped in price because there was no way I was going to pay the $10.99 or whatever they are normally, $9.99 actually it says here. But I am a huge Scooby-Doo fan, and so picked up in the sales Scoob. Picked this next one up because surprisingly I didn't have it in the collection. The sequel's coming out on Amazon Prime very soon, and I fancied rewatching it, went to go and find it, and lo and behold, I don't have this film. So I picked Coming to America. I got that in HMV, and I got that on Boxing Day. This next one again was one that I was sure that I had, and went to go and get it off the shelves to watch. One night one night the week before, and to my surprise didn't have it, so jumped straight on Amazon and ordered it, and that is Johnny Depp in The Ninth Gate. If anybody on here watched my November DVD and Blu-ray and 4K update, you might remember that before I built the movie room, I had some DVDs in my set that were sort of like 3 discs to a set, box set things, that, you know, I'd have like a common actor or director or theme of film sort of thing. And I quite fancied it, if I came across them for cheap enough, picking up the individual releases so that I could retire those box sets, because now that I've got everything in alphabetical order. And I came across this in a charity shop for 30p, and thought, well, I can't say no, considering really all I need it for is the artwork, and that is the 1998 Tim Burton remake of Planet of the Apes. Picked this next one up also for 30p in the same charity shop, and it's Lake Placid 2. good bit of popcorn monster fun. I do love a good monster movie. So I don't know why I've picked that up, because it's not going to be a good monster movie, is it? But I did enjoy the first one. I can't remember, is it like Lake Placid 12 or something like that, where Robert Englund's the sheriff in it, and they've started to have a bit of a recurring cast, and they did like Lake Placid versus Anaconda, didn't they? Dawn of Justice or whatever it was. And I'm probably not going to descend that far into collecting them, but I thought I'd see what number 2's all about. Tell you what, leave me a comment down below if it's a load of old tosh. Let me know. Be interested to know your thoughts. The next one I picked up, because I saw that it was a Rob Zombie one. I didn't have it. I actually picked this up more for Laura than for me, and then when I showed her it, she goes, "Oh no, I don't like that film." So I'm not entirely sure where I got the idea from that she did like it, but I'll give it a watch anyway. I like my horror and that sort of stuff. So that is House of a Thousand Corpses. And obviously it's got Sid Haig on the front there, who passed away fairly recently, didn't he, within the last 12 months or so. I always remember him as the sort of like the dopey goon in Diamonds Are Forever. There's these 3 sort of like mafia lads that are doing Blofeld's bidding. And I always, whenever I think of, when he died, the first thing I thought of was him going in Diamonds Are Forever. Hey, I got a brother. But there you go. This next one I picked up purely based on the synopsis and the cast. Again, 30p in the local charity shop, so I figured why not. And it is Dolores Clemon, starring Kathy Bates and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and looks to be a bit of a murder mystery. Picked this one up in the recent trip to Poundland, getting a few bits of cleaning supplies, washing up liquid and all that sort of gubbins. There's no point paying over the odds for that stuff when you can go to Poundland and get 2 or 3 for £1. And whenever I'm in there, I always have a nosy at the DVD and Blu Ray and CD section. Saw this and had a nosy, didn't have it, so decided I'd pick it up. It's years since I've seen it. I remember it just being over the top sort of popcorn fun, and not being amazing, but not being terrible either. This next one I picked up because we recently watched an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and the chap that stars in this is the director and one of the stars of this film. And then when I saw the DVD, it was in the charity shop, and I was like, oh yeah, it's that guy that did that was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I picked that up for that. Haven't seen it for a long while. But remember enjoying it years ago. There's another one that group of lads do that's called Club Dread, which is just dire, but to the point of being brilliant. Next one I picked up, again in Poundland, hence the sticker, is Blow. I've got the camera sort of facing me. I have to reverse this footage afterwards, so it says Wold so far as I can see. But there we go, Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz in Blow. Not seen that one, but a friend of mine recommended it to me and said that it was worth checking out if ever I came across it on my travels, and I did. So for £1, I figured why not. This next one again picked up more for Laura than for me, although I do enjoy these movies. She likes stuff with the Muppets in and stuff like that. Muppets Treasure Island. I haven't seen this one since I was a kid, so it'd be good to see that one again. Atonement. I thought I had it, didn't. And then when I checked, picked it up for £1. Mel Gibson's Apocalypto. I've not actually ever seen this, but I watched a video, and I'm so sorry I can't remember whose video it was on here. And they picked up the Blu Ray, which I think is largely out of print now, and it said what a great film it was. And so I figured, well, I saw it for £1, and I'm curious. If you are new around here, folks, you probably noticed that I do pick things up as a bit of a sort of like curiosity buys. I do that fairly regularly. If I see something for a good deal, I'll pick it up. I'm happy to have it on the shelves and work my way through it. And then this next one was a Christmas present from Laura, and I can't wait to watch this. I absolutely love the daftness of these films, and it's a bizarre wonder that 30 odd years after the original, they're still making sequels to Tremors. So this is Tremors 106, Shrieker Island. It's still got Michael Gross in it, and I'm looking forward to watching it. I thought that the last one, Cold Day in Hell was it, or something like that, was absolute just nonsense, absolute drivel, but I right enjoyed it. I right enjoyed the sort of the creature features. The first two Tremors are the best, and then really they trail off, don't they? But it's one of them where I'm a completist, and I saw that in the shop and said, oh, do you know what? I quite fancy that for Christmas, and then Santa brought it, and it was under the tree, wasn't it? So the next is the last DVD that I'm going to show you, but this is a documentary about the sort of like the early years of the Bee Gees, as I understand it, up to their breakup and then eventual reunion. So I really look forward to watching that. My sister got me that. We were actually out doing a bit of shopping in Tesco's, and I saw it on a stand there, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know we were getting that. I was about to buy it myself, and she goes, hang on, I'll get you it for Christmas. So I'll be watching that one rather imminently. Let's move on to the Blu-rays, folks, and let's take a look again. Some that I've picked up from HMV with some money from the grandparents, some that I've bought myself in Poundland, and let's just dive in. So the first one is from Poundland, Wreck-It Ralph. Loved it, seen it on the TV, didn't have it, was surprised to come across that in Poundland and thought for £2, absolutely, I'll have that. Picked this next one up, it was in a 3 for 18 deal in HMV, and if you're a regular on this channel you might have seen that myself and my good mate Phil, lockdown pending, are intending on having a movie marathon at some point in late January or early February, as we do every year and have done every year for the last 10 years. When we do these marathons, we pick silly categories and, you know, make sure that the movie challenges are ridiculously long. We've done all the James Bond films, for argument's sake. We've done all the Batman and Superman films. We did that actually up to the release of Batman vs Superman coming out. What a fun film that was. But anyway, the theme this year was we took the IMDb's top 250 as it was as of like the 30th of November or when it was, and then got like a number generator and basically did a lottery. This was one of the ones that came up. I didn't have it, and that is Le Mans 66, which is a James Mangold film. Looking forward to watching that when we do that marathon. Like I say, either later on in January or very early February. So the next two are part of that 3 for 18 deal. We've got Queen and Slim. The premise for this film sounds really, really good, and I've heard it get glowing reviews, so I'm looking forward to watching that one very soon. The next one again won lots of awards at the last Oscars. I think quite controversial in some ways, because it has Adolf Hitler as an imaginary friend of a child. I've not seen it yet, so I can't really weigh in an opinion on it. But I've heard that it is a very good, well-made film by Taika Waititi, and that is Jojo Rabbit. The Johnny Depp remake of Alice in Wonderland. So I picked that up largely for Laura. Don't mind it myself. I've seen it a couple of times, but she's a really big Tim Burton fan and likes Johnny Depp movies. And so when I saw that for the price, I thought, well, that's something that we can sit down and watch together one night. The next one I picked up, I have the first one, but I hadn't got the second one and wasn't really prepared to sort of pay HMV money for it, even now at, you know, $6-7.99 or whatever it is. But for £2, I figured that I'd pick up Wrath of the Titans. Enjoyed that when it came out. Not the worst film in the world, not the best film in the world, but it's something that I go back to. I've watched the I'm going to say the original then, but it's not the original, is it? Because the original's the one from the late 70s. But the remake with Sam Worthington, I've watched that a couple of times on DVD since it came out. Dallas Buyers Club. Phil recommended this to me. I actually picked this up yesterday on my lunch break. I work quite near an HMV and popped in just to have a nosy round as I was actually on my way to Greg's to get a sausage roll, and saw that in the big sale bins. What was it? It was $7.99, reduced to $2.99. I figured, well, for that price I can't say no, can I really? The next two I picked up in a shop that we have in Leeds called Trade Me In. As far as I'm aware, that is the only location that they've got, although I think they've set up a website now. And it's a bit like CEX in the sense of you can go and trade in your DVDs, your Blu-rays, your video games and your gadgets. And they generally tend to be better priced than CEX. And because they seem to be a smaller organisation, they generally tend to take better care the stock than, say, perhaps your average CEX pickup would be. And I like to support them. They're a local shop. They're a real good bunch in there. And so whenever I go in, I always try and do my bit and pick something up. But they've been well and truly picked through for Christmas. But I managed to find a couple of Blu-rays that I wanted. The first being The Bone Collector, with Denzel Washington, one of my favourite actors. The next one that I got was the 1998 American version of Godzilla, made by all the folks that did Independence Day. I've got a soft spot for this. I know it's absolute trash. And I know that anybody who's a fan of the original sort of like Japanese Godzilla movies and the source material, if you like, I know that they're not going to be necessarily a fan of that because it strays far from it. But guilty pleasure that I watched it as a kid many times. My grandparents, the year it came out, they bought me the video for Christmas, and they bought me as well. Probably stands about a foot tall, a model, like a toy model of Godzilla, and it used to have a button on its chest that you could press and it roars. I've still got the thing upstairs, actually. I used to have it on the shelf in the old movie space. It's now sat on a shelf next to my desk upstairs. And it was one of those things when I was sort of clearing my room out when I came to move out and was going through the wardrobes and, getting rid of and donating old toys and things that had never been seen for years, and it went in the donation box and then came out, and then it went in the bin and then came out again, and I can't bear to part with it. So Godzilla stood on my shelf upstairs, but there you go. This next one arrived yesterday in the post. I'd hoped to pick this up on Boxing Day in HMV after seeing it being advertised. Now, when I saw this film advertised on Facebook, and I think it might have been Elliot Cohen that shared the link that I saw on Facebook, or anyway, one of our sort of fellow YouTubers had shared it and I'd seen the post and thought, oh, I must pick that up. So it's David Cronenberg's Crash, which stars James Spader. I think it's got Holly Hunter in there as well, and it's let's have a look at her name, Deborah Karunga, the lady who's in The Game. She plays Michael Douglas's love interest in that, and it's an Arrow release. They've done a 4K of this, but my goodness, look at this box, really sturdy box. It's got a poster in there. It's got a book with all the usual tidbits and details about the film, and then the usual Blu-ray itself. And like I said, just look at the sturdiness of that box. Is now going to damage that quite easily. Anyway, I picked that up, but I went to my collection. I'm sure I've got that, and what I actually had in my collection was a film with the same name, but not the same film, and I had this. So when I saw that I didn't have it, I wanted to pick it up in HMV on Boxing Day. They didn't have any in stock, and didn't know when they were going to get any, so I jumped on Amazon with an Amazon voucher that I had, and got it ordered. The next one I picked up in HMV, it was in their sort of collector's edition section, and it's one I've been meaning to pick up for a while. And again, my grandma and then my nan and granddad, both separately, gave me some money for Christmas, so I had a little bit of cash to spend and thought, do you know what, I'll treat myself. One I'm looking forward to seeing, that is Screamers. This one I'm really excited to see. Now, it's a long time since I've seen the trilogy, but I've been meaning to this year, having recently picked them up on Blu-ray and finally upgrading from the DVDs to sit down and rewatch them. And then in lockdown, I heard that Francis Ford Coppola had decided to take another look at this film, and that is The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. So this is a new cut of Godfather 3, which is, from what I understand, how Coppola intended the film to be initially, before being the film that we got, which is admittedly, unfortunately, the weakest of the trilogy. I still enjoy it, but it is when you compare it to Godfather 1 and 2, a weaker film. So I'm really interested to see with that what direction it's taken and how different it is, whether it improves upon it, makes it worse, or whether it's just the same but for different reasons. So I might even do a video on that later in the year when I've got round to watching it all. That's a weekend's work, is watching now those 4 films and having a bit of a natter on camera for you guys about it. The next one I picked up, because I've not been able to get a hold of this any other way, and I'm not normally somebody that sort of picks up films that you know, in terms of when it comes to getting Blu-rays, I won't buy an edition just because it has a nice slipcover sort of a thing. But with this one, I couldn't seem to find it anywhere else on any other edition, and really wanted it in my collection. And that is THX 1138, the George Lucas film. It says here that it's the George Lucas director's cut. I've not seen this film. I know practically nothing about it other than that it's one of George Lucas's early works. And obviously I'm a Lucas fan. Star Wars, Indy are absolutely the sort of bread and butter of the things I like. So I look forward to watching that soon. And to be fair, I do quite like this sort of, as they're calling them, travel poster artwork sets that they're doing. The Blu-ray is just the regular old Blu-ray inside. There's no too special about that, but yeah, not come across that. But like I say, it wouldn't be something I'm not going to go out and buy the rest of them. They've got Interstellar and The Matrix and, you know, so on and so forth, sort of sci-fi classics. We're now going to jump into the last of my Blu-rays, which is some HMV Premium Collection ones. I do like collecting the Premium Collection series. There's a lot of great films on there, and a lot of things that would normally get released on Warner Archive over in the US that are getting these great releases over here. The first one that I picked up is Robin and Marion, starring the late Sean Connery and Audrey Hepburn as well, and Robert Shaw as well. Picked this up mostly for the cast. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I was actually talking to somebody about this on Twitter the other day. I was having a bit of a back and forth and saying that I remembered I'd enjoyed it, and then they sort of commented that they watched it a lot more recently than me, and perhaps it doesn't hold up. So I'll be interested to revisit that and see whether or not with maybe a fresh pair of eyes it holds up. The next one I got, I remember right enjoying when I was a teenager. It's just you know, sort of a spooky paranormal one. Again, the cast was always a really great cast. You got Owen Wilson, Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones in The Haunting. I haven't seen this for a good few years. The last time I watched this, I was at my aunt's, and me and my sister and the cousins sat down to watch it one Friday night, as we used to do when we were kids. We'd get a takeaway and watch scary movies. The next one I picked up, I've not seen it before, but it's Gene Hackman, and I'll watch anything with Gene Hackman in. Matt Dillon's also in this. Target. This last one from the Premium Collection, I'm over the moon to get this on Blu-ray. One of my favourite films, one of my favourite sort of superhero, sort of bordering on action swashbuckler films. It doesn't get really great reviews, to be fair, but I've always loved this, and I've wanted the Blu-ray for a long time. I wasn't prepared to spend silly money to get one of the imports or whatever that was there. And so when I saw this came out on the Premium Collection, this is one of the things I asked my sister for Christmas. I was like, "So, can I have this?" Anyway, it is The Phantom, Billy Zane in The Phantom. Watched this over lockdown on my old DVD copy, which funnily enough I let Phil have because he's not seen this, and I knew he was getting that. So I was like, "Hey, yeah, I might have this." Loved it. It's Indiana Jones meets Batman meets sort of Zorro, isn't it? It's just great. Really enjoy it. So we're getting towards the end of this video, and it's been a long old one, ladies and gents, so I do hope that you're still with us at this point. If you are still do think about subscribing to the channel. This is the sort of stuff that I like to talk about, and we'll be talking about going regular into 2021. But enough of that. Let's talk now about the couple of 4Ks that I got. These were both presents that I opened on Christmas Day. I did know that I was getting them. So the first one is another present from my lovely sister, and it's one that I wanted to upgrade. This is my favourite Christopher Nolan film, bar none. I think it's the best thing he's ever done, and it is The Prestige. I've had the DVD for years, and that and Insomnia are the only ones I still have. Oh, actually, The Following as well, but that Insomnia and Following are the only ones. That Insomnia and Following are the only ones of his that I have on DVD. At some point in the new year, I'm going to import Insomnia. I think you can get that on a European copy, and I don't believe that you can get a Region 2 Blu-ray of following, so I shall stick with my DVD, which again was imported from on-continent Europe. But so thanks so much for that. Really looking forward to rewatching this in 4K. It's an absolutely breathtaking bit of film. Really is my favourite Nolan film, and what cemented him as a favourite director of mine. This last one, my mum and her husband picked up for me. Is another, like I say, another 4K set. Anybody on this channel who's been around for a while will know that I'm a James Bond nut. I've currently got a series where I'm actually going through all the James Bond films and sharing my ramblings and thoughts on them on the run up to the hopeful release of No Time to Die this coming April. And I'd seen that they'd released the most recent run of films in a 4K box set. And when my mum asked me what I wanted for Christmas, I was like, well, can I have this? She says, go on then. So it is the Daniel Craig collection, and that contains the extended cut of Casino Royale. Now, I've never seen the extended cut. Apparently it's exclusive to 4K. I don't know how much it's extended by, whether it's deleted scenes that are on the Blu-ray just reinserted, or whether it's things we've never seen, but I'm looking forward to watching that. And then it also includes Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and then the most recent effort, which, if you're a Bond fan, can you believe it's been 6 years since we've had a Bond film, and that's Spectre. So I've heard that these things look fantastic in 4K, and I'm really looking forward to checking them out and understanding. Really looking forward to checking these out and seeing what they look like in 4K. And we'll be doing that as part of the Debriefing 007 series. So there we have it, folks. Like I mentioned earlier on in the video, if you're a fan of DVD and Blu-ray updates and hauls, if you're a fan of talking about collecting physical media, as I certainly am, reviewing films and just discussing films as an art form, then please think about subscribing to the channel, because that's what I'm all about. And as we move into 2021, that's what I aim to continue to do. If you've liked this video, leave us a thumbs up down below and share your comments as well. Is there anything in here that you guys would recommend watching sooner rather than later? Any thoughts or any reviews you might have on any of these films? There's a lot of them in here that I've not seen or I've not seen for a long time, and it'd be great to have a discussion with you about them. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I hope that you're all well. I hope that you have a fantastic new year and have had a brilliant Christmas if you've been celebrating. And above all else, as I always say, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers.